Okay, so this video is to give a bit of a summary of the Climate Change Heading for Extinction workshop. The aims of the workshop are to tell people what's happening, to give the key stats on climate change, to tell the audience why the government hasn't done enough at this point, and then finally to tell them how we can create a mass movement to stop what's currently happening, and all of these are based on scientific research and anecdotes from previous social movements. The workshops themselves are designed to trigger an emotional response in the audience, the fear of what's going to happen and the empathy that they're going to feel for the people that are going to be so strongly affected, and those will really be the key drivers of the workshop. To develop these responses in the audience, there'll be a period, a break in the middle, where people can talk about their feelings regarding the initial climate stats and how they're feeling about them, and ask them some questions, about how that might change their approach to life. The overall tone itself is therefore pretty passionate, but also serious, and it talks about things largely in the third person. So it gives the stats and the figures and the anecdotes about how to create social change, and then it's up to the audience to decide whether or not they want to be a part of it. And that's a pretty key point in the workshop, is where you give out the sign-up sheets. The sign-up sheets should be given out before the very end, so after the end of the workshop itself. You should start giving out the sign-up sheets and then open up the room for either a group discussion or some questions from the audience, because people can leave very quickly once it's all done. The sign-up forms and all other documents about the climate extinction lecture can be found on Basecamp under that title, Climate Extinction Lecture, in the document section. The workshop itself is part of Rising Up strategy around big organising, which is best described in the book Rules for Revolutionaries by Becky Bond, and it's been used in the Bernie Sanders campaign. Is that you don't need paid officials to run a campaign effectively. What you need is volunteers. You need people that are passionate about what they're doing, who will then spread the message through things like this workshop and recruit more volunteers that will then self-replicate that structure. And so all things going forward should be easy to pick up for new volunteers. So in that style, each workshop should be done by two people, one that is experienced in doing the workshop beforehand, and someone that has not been trained yet or hasn't done it before. These people that want to be trained can be found in the answers to the sign-up sheets, and also in the events diary for outreach, and this can also be found on the main absorption document at the very top on Basecamp. So following on from each workshop, people that took part should be emailed and called within 3 days to let them know about sort of next steps in organising around the rebellion, about non-violent direct action workshops that they can attend if they're interested in being arrested or going to prison, how to get involved in different working groups on Basecamp, also whether or not they want to run a workshop themselves in their area with someone else. For people that want to run the lecture in their own area, they should be added to Basecamp for the outreach team, and they should find all the relevant materials that I've mentioned, like the main absorption document, the climate extinction lecture folder, and videos like this one. And after that, there should be a Skype process, a one-on-one Skype process with an experienced facilitator and a non-experienced facilitator, preferably the one they're going to do the workshop with. and this will give them time to talk through any issues they have with the workshop structure or any parts they're particularly keen in running, and then be able to practice them. More details on this process, specifically how to train people into doing the workshop, can be found on the main absorption document under how to train people. This process is then be replicated as more and more people are trained, and will work in tandem with the outreach team, who will be asking for different spaces to run the workshop across the country. And we add up all the numbers when people do the sign-up sheets, we get all the volunteers involved, and encourage people to create affinity groups and different working groups in their area in preparation for the rebellion. And then we add those numbers up and see where we're looking for the 31st of October. Good luck.